Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I had a weird night. I slept. I slept on my couch actually because my cats were there. And Nucky got on me real cute, you know. I had this like bigger sweater thing. Well, like one that opens, cardigan-esque, right? Because it's cold, man. It's cold up here in the north. So I had that open and he climbs into it, you know, and I'm like, ooh. And he ends up getting just completely on me. You know when like when like a mother sleeps with a baby and the baby's head is like on their chest, like on their upper sternum, turned to the side. He did that and I was like, oh my god. So I just sat there and I was like, I'll just sleep here, whatever. Cause I was already ready for bed. And my couch is like covered in blankets and pillows anyway. It's basically a bed, you know, so I was like, I don't care. So I just pass out there. It's a little bit early for me to sleep, but, you know. So I sleep, and then I crack my eyes open at, like, 7:30 a.m. Because it's too hot. And I'm dying. And my other cat is now also on me. At some point, he got on. So the two of them are both on me, like two babies just covering me. And I'm just, like boiling, you know. So I like, pick up my head and look at them. They both pick up their heads, and they're like, huh? And then they stand up because they're like, whoa, it's food time, even though it's like really not food time yet.
Welcome back, General 07.
Thank you, I'm back. Appreciate the boots. Frost, thank you for the prime. So I get up out of cat prison, yeah, and I feed them a little bit, just a little bit, because like normal food time is a little later than that. And I immediately go to my computer because I'm like, Arc Raiders releases, yeah, because it released that morning. So I was like, it's time for Arc Raiders, and I played for a bit. And then I went back to sleep. I did sleep too, but it wasn't as long. Coastal Kazoo, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you. But yeah, it's so fun, man. I don't love all extraction shooters or extraction games. I like some. I really liked Dark and Darker. Obviously very different combat than Arc Raiders. I loved Dark and Darker. I liked some of Tarkov. For whatever reason, I just never got like super into it. I just liked it a bit, played a little bit. But this one feels real good to play. I really like this one. So yeah, I'm gonna play a bunch of Arc Raiders. You're in the Fellowship mines. Yeah. The launch was broken anyway. Was it? I don't know. I mean this one, right? Arc Raiders. Launch has been totally fine for me, at least. Anything I've been doing in there has been totally fine. Did they survive that lawsuit? I don't know. I haven't kept up on what actually happened with Dark and Darker. I really liked it, though. You never vibe with the PvPvE thing? I really like it personally. It just feels like it's more... I like things that are more objective-based. I like things that are a lot more objective-based. So for me, when you're like fighting over something, not just fighting and that's it. I don't know. I just have more fun with it. And then it gives you something when there aren't other players in your section of the map. You have a task. There's something you're doing instead of running around being like, where are the people? Like you kind of do in some battle royales, which at least with battle royales, you're still looting. You're, you know, it's just, you're doing a run, but still, I don't know. I like it. I enjoy it. Have you heard about Star Wars game Penguin's voiced a character? Do you mean like the 2015 game Star Wars, or are you just trying to plug the PC company? I'm going to be working with a different PC company for the record, so if you are, you'll have to die, but you know. Surely you're talking about that game that was released like 10 years ago that was totally real. Surely. Anyway, but yeah, Arc Raiders has been fun. There's also there's a peak update that they just announced. It's not today. It's not today. But they just announced a peak update, and I want to look at it. Roots biome. Roots biome is the new biome. I want to look. I didn't watch the trailer. A bunch of I have like 5 different peak chats of all these big lobbies that love to come back. Yeah, the game is Dispatch. Oh yeah. We're gonna play Dispatch. They're releasing it bit by bit. They just released episode 3 and 4 like yesterday, I think. And they're doing up to 8 episodes. And that'll be by early November. So that'll be within, I think that's next week. They'll be finished next week or the week after. What'd they say? The 6th or the 8th? Something like that. I'll figure, maybe it's the 12th. I don't know. But within the next 2 weeks, they're going to be finished with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it like probably like the day before or whatever. And I'll start binging it so we can do it all at once instead of doing it for like little, in little bits. But yeah, your repo update. I heard about that. Yeah, I haven't seen that either. Maybe here, I want to watch like little trailers and stuff. Because I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. Hold on. Do I have a browser capture on this page? On this scene? I went through and I cleaned up my OBS scenes. That was some stuff that I did during my break. Cleaning up my OBS scenes and just like cleaning out the gunk has been really nice. Really nice. Oh yeah, I do. I do have a browser capture. I could go back to repo a little bit. I could go back to repo just for a little update. The game is not unfun. It takes out... I don't want to shit on Lethal too much because we're about to play with friends like tomorrow. But Lethal, like when I return back to it with a big gap, I could do it. When I play it like day after day, I get so tired of it because the thing that I find unfun is that the gameplay relies on you remembering how to backtrack through an area. And I'm like, I don't like these like 3D memory things. I just, no. I find that unfun, And then Repo kind of took that out. They give you the route back. And you just have to pull up the map to look at it. And I'm like, that's nice. That's nice. They took out the part that like makes it unfun. And then instead they have more monsters that you just need to get past. So, not too bad. Not too bad. You think it has more staying power than Peak? I disagree. I think Peak is better. I think Peak is better. It depends on what you like. But Peak for me, first of all, it's not a horror game. It's not a horror game. And I'm tired of co-op horror games where they're just like, oh, janky monster follows you. That's there are plenty of those, and it's all right. Peak mechanically is just more fun for me personally. It just got updated. It didn't get updated. It's getting updated. I think it's November 5th, right? Yeah, 5th. I like the Peak kind of limits you to 1 complete run a day. Yeah, I mean, it's not like hard limited, but yeah. Horror friend slap is a bit overdone. Yeah, I prefer any... I hate that we all call it friend slap now. I prefer anything that is more nice, vibey. RV there yet. We're going to play that later. Not until like 7 Eastern, so what, 4 hours from now? Yeah, 4 hours from now. That... I don't know. I like when the game leaves room for you. Now, this is because I'm like a cringe role player and stuff, and like I like to yap a lot. So for me, a game that leaves some room for you to like do what you want in it is good. Games that don't, like Repo, where you're, or Lethal as well, where you're sort of like separating from people, you are sitting there and spending a lot of effort to, I don't know, to like focus on the gameplay and the mechanics of it and talk about that, I think Repo's not too bad with it. But in comparison, you know, a game like RV There Yet, where you can just stop and sit there and just like RP for 5 minutes if you want, you know, like I personally like that. I like that. So I don't know, but also I also just like things with good vibes. That's just me. Good vibes. Horror can be really funny though. I'd love to see Peak get a team versus team mode so he can race to reach the top. Yeah, I really want to do, I was talking to a couple people about doing like a challenge. And maybe we could do it with the new one releasing. Actually, oh, I need to ask. Who was it? Oh, I know who it was. Noting that. Just reminding myself. Okay. I've been talking to Frederick. Fred has run a lot of like little things like that. And I know he's not streaming anymore. He's just back to the YouTube mines. But he's still, you know, very involved. I still talk to him a bunch. Yeah, Mr. Fat Nuts himself. So I was discussing with him, like, you know, oh yeah, I always wanted to do like peak races and stuff, right? Where we have like 4 POVs, we're all climbing, and then we're all trying to, you know, race to the top sort of thing, that sort of stuff. And he was like, I have literally run these like mini events for people so that I could like assist them, keep score, watch stuff, pull clips, you know, whatever. And I was like, do you want to do that? You want to do that? Because doing it all yourself when you also have to be live and have to be on stream, like with your own POV of it, can be quite annoying. So he was like, yeah, no, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. So we have Frederick. Yeah, he's a TO pretty much. We have Frederick, so we're going to pull Frederick and some of his help at some point. Maybe with the new update. But I have to come up with, like, if someone wins and everyone gifts them subs, that's fun. I guess. But there's got to be something better, like a punishment for everyone else, or I don't know. There has to be something better, right? As a prize or whatever for the winner. And I'm trying to figure out what that should be. I don't know if anyone has ideas on what that should be. But, and like, everyone gives this person X subs is fine. But I want more. Everyone else gets slimed. Mm-hmm. You're so right. Ooh, you get the loser's channel. I've suggested this to friends so many times where I'm like, hey, you just give me a temp stream key. Because you could do that. Or you can give your stream key and then you can reset it. It's easy. And so many people are so unwilling. Like everyone, I don't know what it is. They're so unwilling. I think they're afraid. I think they're scared. Not scared of what you'll do on stream. They're scared of like their community getting something that isn't their usual thing. And then it affects their viewership. Ooh. They're so scared of it. And I'm like, dude, it's just one stream. They're terrified of it, dude. Can't get people to agree to it. I've tried. I have tried. My metrics, yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. It is your livelihood. But I don't know. I'm just going to say this right now. I've got the secret sauce and I know how to talk to sponsors and companies. And if my viewership fluctuates, it doesn't really affect my rates that much when they pay me for sponsors. And I know depending on who you talk to and how you get your sponsorships, most of the time, they will just directly take your average for the month and then calculate, you know, the number of dollars that you get for that sponsorship off of that. But if you just put a little effort in, if you just put a little, you know, a little sauce, you can get them to lock it and not really care so much if things dip. Because the reality is when those things dip, it doesn't actually change your click-through rates most of the time, as long as your core audience is still just there and they're just, you know, they're just there. So what that means for me is it literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter for me. I understand if viewership goes down, like, for a long time, people's income can change, but if it's just one, it shouldn't actually affect anything, you know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, TLDR, just give your friends your stream key. It's funny, okay? It's funny. If anything, it's an event, and I think more people would actually show up just to see what the hell's gonna happen, as long as you talk about it, but that's just me, you know? I don't know, man. Mike was talking about his plans for his 2-week vocal rest and mentioned you and Fred and friends taking over some streams for him. Yeah. Straight up. We're doing that on Mike's channel. I think I have a date for it. I gotta double check and make sure we're locked in for it. But, yeah, we're gonna do a Mike stream takeover for one day, which is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So, that'll be fun. Yeah, because he wants his channel to still be, like, doing something while he's gone. And I was like, hey, man, there's nothing weird about other people streaming to your channel. As long as people know what's going on, you know? There's nothing weird about that, just to keep it going. I actually know several people that share Twitch channels, and their channels are live, like, for a lot of hours, because one guy streams in the morning, another guy streams at night, and they just, like, build up one channel, and it's just, as long as people know what to expect, it's fine, you know? So it's like, if you're going on break and you want your shit to be, like, active, then just have friends on, you know? Yeah, it's like a TV channel. Right. It's just you're the network now, you know? And I was like, just pick friends you trust. And he was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, okay. All right. So I have to come up with something, like, horrific to do on his channel. Bota sisters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. I actually had a friend group, this was so many years ago, like 10 years ago, where we were planning to do that. We actually did. We streamed stuff. It was 4 of us. And we all streamed to one channel. And that was my first foray with streaming. And I ended up mostly playing with the group, not, like, solo streaming that much. And we only ever got, like, 5 viewers because it was, you know, way pre-COVID time. And if you just, like, went live just cause no one showed up, you know? And we were all no face cam, so there wasn't even, like, a visual brand to, like, you know, get people in. It was just, like, some voices, some disembodied voices. No one had PNGs or anything, so we just streamed to friends mostly, but it was fun. And I think about that, and I'm like, man, you know, if I ever wanted to, like, quote-unquote retire, which I don't think I really would, it'd have to be a really long time for that. But if I ever wanted to do that, I would consider asking, like, close friends or family members or people that want to do this sort of thing if they wanted to do that. And then I stream once a week and some of them stream, like, once a week, and we keep the channel going just cause or something. You know what I mean? Like, memorialize it, and it's just, like, our hangout spot. I thought that could be cool. You have to be so careful about who you allow to do it, but it could be neat. It could be real neat. But I like stuff like that, you know? I like stuff like that. I kind of always wondered why there weren't more streamers that do that. I understand. I think having your own channel that you solo stream on and people just stream together is still better. And they literally added the stream together thing. But I wish there were an option to take kind of what stream teams are and make, like, a channel, like a better landing page for it, because they kind of suck right now. You have a stream team, and, like, if I go, let me go to mine. As the owner of the Girls FC stream team, let me go open it. I'm about to hear myself. I'm opening my own stream. Yeah, I hear myself. There we go. Okay. So if I click on it, that's me. the page that it brings me to is just like, it sucks. First of all, it's all shrunken in the middle of the screen, okay? Valilla, valilla. Thank you for the 54 months. That's crazy. Also, Drudo, thank you for the 16. But look at this. This is the screen it brings you to when you click on a stream team. Okay, so I'm streaming. It shows me live. And then the other 4 are not streaming right now, so it puts them there. If they were streaming, it would list you in order of highest to lowest viewership of who's live at the top, and then the rest that aren't streaming at the bottom. And it's just a player showing you streaming, right? Yeah, it doesn't even show chat. It doesn't even show the chat for that stream. So it's just like a link sharer, right? It might as well be the same as if I had a link tree and I was like, here's this person's stream and here's that person's stream, except it has an embed. Like, that's right. But what they should do, now I know I know it's hard for Twitch to innovate, but I would like to be able to associate myself with some friends in a way where it's more of us presenting ourselves together as a brand to people, right? Like when I was in VShojo, or like existing networks, groups like OTV, like FaZe, you know, whatever. Them being able to maybe set it up as like a homepage for their group and have like an organization thing would be really good, because a lot of the upper level streamers are in orgs or have friend groups where they would use the feature. You know, they would use the feature. And they've just never built tools for that. They've never, ever, ever built the tools for that. Just in the name of who shall not be named. You can say VShojo here. It's not the boogeyman. You know, it was a good time when it was good. So I'm not going to be like, oh, every moment of that was bad in hindsight or something. There was bad shit, but there was a lot of good shit too. And I still love my friends from it, you know? So, whatever. I don't want to like Voldemort it, you know? But I think if they made the stream teams better, because we had, yeah, Mushoku, we had, hi Kermoto, we had a stream team that we were all in. And I was in both. I stayed in the Girls FC one too. I hated that it only let you display one at a time. So I added the Girls FC one in like my about section, whatever. So I was like, okay, that's all right. But I wanted to, I wanted to be able to do more with that. I would have loved if there was a way for you. So here's what I would love. On your left sidebar, it has individual streamers listed, right? But what if they were all part of an org? Let's say it was VShojo before it imploded. Let's say we're all in VShojo, right? And at the top left, it has the name of the org. And then, you know, it's like an accordion with the different channels that are live. Or maybe you click on it and it brings you to a better homepage. And it has people that are live there. And you can see what they're doing in either a multi-viewer, or maybe it's just a single one with the other thumbnails below it, or something. Maybe they could post news. Maybe it shows their schedules next to each other. Ooh, kind of like a TV channel a little bit. It would also encourage streamers that are in the same groups to plan their events, you know, next to each other, so that things can show up on that schedule, like, you know, aside from what other people are doing, etc. Right? There's like, it wouldn't even take that much effort to build this. It's just a UX thing. You wouldn't need a lot on the back end for these tools. Only a little bit. Almost like what they have with Teams already. Yeah, but I was showing that they suck. That's literally what I'm talking about. This is fucking useless, and it's no different from a link sharer. Right? So I'm saying you take this and then you make it discoverable. You make like the whole network team type thing discoverable. And you just improve discoverability through that. A lot of people want to bring their friends up with them. That's how I feel, right? If I'm in a group with some people and we bring someone in and they're smaller, I want to pull them up with me, and I want to show them to my audience. If they just made that be a thing, and they push that person in your recommendations really hard because they're part of the same org or whatever, huge, you know? I don't know. There are ways we can do a lot of this stuff manually, but if they just made tools so that it just happened, honestly, a lot of stuff would be a lot better, and it wouldn't be hard. And then yeah, I did talk about like an old idea, which was buying a bulk subscription to an entire team, and maybe it increases a little bit for the number of people you have in it. But you could buy like a team-wide subscription, and it just gives you like a smaller set, like the first 10 emotes of that channel, of each of them. And it gives it kicks a little something. It could, yeah, kind of like Team Turbo. It could be something in between Turbo. Because there are a lot of people that only watch certain orgs and kind of stay within that. And I think that would be nice. And depending on how they monetize it, it could make them a bunch of money, just saying. But that was sort of a thought that I had, was they could spread that out a little bit. But that's innovation, and everything that they do is reactionary and not like, you know, trying to push like a cool thing ahead of time. So, oh well. These are really good ideas. I think I have good ideas for product, but, you know, it is what it is. A lot of these tools wouldn't, like I said, they wouldn't even be hard to make. There wouldn't be a lot of back-end changes that they'd have to make this happen. It's mostly front-end changes on how they display stuff, which is like not hard. It's not hard, okay, at all. In my opinion, with a small team, they could get this shit done in a couple weeks. 2 months to get it to the phase where they can start testing it. Maximum. And that's what maybe that's not with the group subscription part, but just getting the teams to be more feeling like a network. I don't know. But that's just my thought. What I should do is, you know what I should I should really do? I should mock it up in like Figma. I should mock up the UI for it and then make a video of myself clicking through it and then post it on Twitter. And that should be, instead of like drama posts, I should just post shit Twitch should do and then be like, why don't you do this? And then all the streamers are like, oh, that I want that. And then I force them to innovate or people get pissed. You know? I think that'd be good. Just saying. Send it to Kick so they implement it and Twitch steals it from Kick. Maybe that's the way. I don't know. Tag Zach Busey saying, oh my god, have you seen this new Twitch feature and bait engagement? I could just DM him. I could just be like, hey, I made this. You know, and he'll probably retweet it anyway, because Zach and I are tight now. We're tight. They steal, they don't innovate, that's the problem? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying. They just, like, everything they do is reactionary. Either the community, like, is super pissed at them, so then they do some sort of Band-Aid solution to make people shut up, you know? Or they see another platform do a thing, and then they decide, like, 5 years later to maybe implement a shittier version of it. Which, now, okay. I want to mention the Twitch layoffs really quick. I don't know who's all getting fired. They did a bunch of layoffs this week. Or they are doing. I don't know who all got fired. But I'm going to share an unpopular opinion here. Actually, no, one that's popular if you're like in startups or like do hiring for tech companies, but one that's unpopular if you want a job. I think the company's bloated as fuck. When they talk about how many like devs they've got, I'm like, what are they doing all day? Because I see nothing happening. I do think they spend a lot of time, from what I've heard, wasting time on stuff to show that never gets used. So I genuinely don't think they need a lot of the people that they have. I think what they do need is, I think if they're laying off people, they should add more people into things where you do need to scale out more. You know, for example, everyone clamoring for like better moderation. I want humans in moderation. I think we need more people in that. Trust and safety team, you know, whatever it is. Community. I think that's where they need more people. But yeah, I feel like they've just got like a lot of employees in building out tools that I don't see. And every time they release a new feature, I'm like, how long did this fucking take to get across the finish line? How much red tape do they have to get through Because these things, if you have a small team, if this were like a smaller startup environment, it could have been done like so much faster. So I don't know. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say about Joe. So yeah, the half the layoffs ended up being support, content moderation, and safety. Exactly. So I saw that and I was like, I don't think those are the areas with bloat, guys. I was like, okay. I think the areas with the bloat are, you know, the people not building tools or something. But when I look at that, I'm like, I think this is the part where everyone's like, hey, we need more of these people. Right? I don't know. Do they still, this is layoff round 4 or something? I assume it's just Dan Clancy in a shed at this point. They still have hundreds of people. God, you know, this is a comment where normally we'd like get rid of you, but I really want to know what you have to say next. This first time message. We're just gonna leave that guy. I wonder if they assume AI moderation is good enough. The thing is, I feel like AI moderation could be a lot better if they like really made it good, but I don't think they're doing that. I think they need to invest in that and still have humans, you know, as like the final line, because you can never have enough employees to sit here and manually moderate everything. There are way too many streamers, and they let everyone stream, right? There's no gateway. Like if you just make a channel, you can stream, which means that there are like thousands and thousands and thousands of people streaming every day. So you can't hire enough humans and pay that much money to just have it be manually done. So yeah, you do need to invest in tools that will like auto filter some stuff, but you still need people to then look over that work if your tool isn't perfect, which it never will be, right? But yeah, I don't know. So I am totally on board if they wanted to, like, you know, upgrade their automated filtering of things and their automated moderation, but it has to, one, be done well, and then two, you gotta have people overseeing it. You can't put that band-aid on the wound when the band-aid isn't ready yet. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to get put out there with people sitting there and monitoring it, but you know they're not going to do that. They're going to get rid of people first and then try to implement that shit, which is just, you know, I think on the horizon it's like, it's looking grim with all that. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't know. Yeah, you said so far using AI to cheap out on things is the way most companies seem to be handling it instead of using AI to make it good. I agree. I think there's so many potential like good uses and applications, especially where scale is the issue, where you could just never hire enough humans to handle this thing. You could never pay enough for that. Then yeah, use it as like the first line, the first filter. But that's not how they're doing it. Like that's not how any company's doing it. So what can you do? A tool could be great, but it's how people use it. It's how people use it for sure. I don't know. Said I've given multiple half-researched TED rants in the dev chat about AI swap. Yeah. That's true. It's true. Said, you wonder if AI will eventually get better, get out of hand, or vanish in the face of a new trend? I think it'll get better. But I think it'll be a long time before those better versions of those things are implemented, because in order to make it good, you have to have a lot of devs working on it, a lot of people who are really skilled working on it and making it good. But people want to pay for it as like the cheaper option. They want to use it instead of people. But if you want something that is good, you have to pay like more than that. That it, you know, it's the way everything has worked in history ever. Every time innovation happens, there's a new set of technology or advancement to replace the old. The way it works is, every time, historically, the old method, even if less efficient, is cheaper for a long time while the new method exists, because the infrastructure for the old method already exists. And then eventually, the new method becomes cheaper because it's been there for long enough and enough companies have come along and made it efficient and made it easier and more accessible and cheaper, and then it gets adopted. This was the case with factory work, with robots in factories, moving things around instead of humans moving things around with their hands. Factory work was largely done by people in assembly lines. And then eventually they got replaced by machines. But those machines existed for a long time, but factories didn't immediately go, oh, now that they exist, I'm going to buy them. Because at first they were really fucking expensive. So they just kept people on board. So I think, that's how historically every major shift has happened. So I think that's where we're going to be. I think AI will still be studied. It will get better. A lot of people will figure out really good uses for it. There will always be bad uses for it too, as with any technology. And then those good uses, or maybe not good, those more efficient and properly made, methods, whatever, those will become available way later. So they're going to exist. There are already some good versions of it where like there's a tool that filters out something, does some moderation that actually works well, but it's not going to be readily available. Everyone needs to get it custom made, etc. So until it's like commercially widely available and cheap, companies are not going to be able to effectively replace their workforces with it, in my opinion. It will maybe eventually get there, but I feel like that's a long ways out. They're going to try though. They're going to try. And it's going to be shit, and everyone needs to complain to them and be like, hey, this thing is shit. But it'll take a bit. Yeah, you said like how HDTVs used to be expensive as fuck, but now they aren't. Exactly. It'll get there, but it'll take a while. But they're definitely going to take all the bad versions, all the not really worked out versions of these kinds of tools to automate stuff, make it more efficient, and they're going to just slap them on everything. And you know what I think is going to happen? This is I'm going to open my third eye. I'm going to be the seer and foretell right now. I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to use these tools to replace workers. They're then not going to work that well. And then they're going to be like, we need to bring some workers back because things are on fire, but they're going to turn around and they're going to be like, oh, I'll just hire offshore workers. I will outsource this. And it's going to be a thing that shifts to even more outsourcing for a while until those tools get good, and then they'll get rid of those outsourced people. That's the thing. Yeah, they're already doing it. I'm just saying it's gonna happen a lot more than it already is. But I'm saying they're gonna do it in reaction to their little automation tools, their AI, whatever they're using, like not doing the job well enough, rather than them just going for that first. So, yeah, we're on a big slope. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the balance between reducing user privacy to improve data training for AI moderation versus respecting privacy but getting crappier moderation tools? I honestly, I feel both ways about it. I personally, on a personal level, I want my privacy respected. But when I take myself out of the equation, I take a step back and I look big picture at everything. I'm like, for the most part, they don't want anything with that data and invading that privacy other than just improving their tools, the people that are working on the tools. The problem is once that data is collected and floating around, then a company can decide to do anything with it. They already sell all your data to everybody for money, right? A lot of companies do this. That's already super common. So you can't really trust people to do well with it. So I think on paper, I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't care. You should just let them use that to improve their tools. But you just know that these companies will then use it for 500 other things that you don't want to use for. And that's the problem, is like, I feel like a lot of these issues in tech always come down to human trust, right? And you just can't trust people. You can't trust companies with anything, right? You just can't. So on paper, in an ideal utopian world, you would be like, oh, I'm only signing it away for improvement of their moderation tool, and it would actually work like that. I think in that scenario, in a bubble, great, but it's not like that ever, which is the problem. So that's where accountability comes in. If they write up TOS and they're like, we will only collect your data for this purpose, it will never be used otherwise, and then it's found to be used otherwise, there needs to be a really big bad consequence. Right now, no one really investigates companies when they use shit outside of the TOS that they sent forward. Number one. And then number two, as a result of that, consequences don't happen to them. So they don't really care. So if that consequence was actually there, then I think people could worry a lot less about this. But we all just know that there isn't consequence, so it's whatever. And then what happened to Discord? Yeah, the thing is with the Discord thing, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that was like a third party too. That breach or them using that data for other shit, however that worked out, I'm pretty sure that was a third party doing it and not Discord itself. And that's the problem. That's where the trust thing comes in. You know, they outsource to a third party. Hey, can you take this data, collect it, and do this thing? And the company's like, yes, of course, Big John Discord, I'll do that. And then they fuck it up. And then Discord's on the hook for it, right? But what happens to Discord? I think nothing's happening. Nothing's really happening. Everyone's still using the tool, because who wouldn't? No one wants to not use it. And then that's it, right? They could just wipe their hands of it and be like, well, the third party did it, so really it's their fault. Is anyone going after that third party? I don't know. Yeah, who's going to prosecute them? Right. Like, what are you going to put a class action together? Are people going to pay for this? I don't know. Right? So a lot of tech is just cooked with a lot of that stuff. There's no consequence in the field, and that's why everything is the way it is right now. So. Oh, well. What can you do? What can you do? Yeah, consequence only happens when making big waves on social media. Yes and no. Even then, it doesn't happen. Even then, it doesn't happen. If you say the word regulation in a tech board meeting, everyone hisses and their skin starts burning. They start melting onto the floor like the Wicked Witch. Melting. It's true, man. That's really where, like, I think 90% of the problems people complain about in tech are coming from right now is, like, no regulation, or if there is, it's not enforced. Which is the case for a lot of things, but that's especially tech, you know? And regulation on new stuff always comes, like, 30 years too late. Minimum. So, you know, maybe eventually we'll get there, but for now, there's just none of that. It's just none of that. Even when people complain about Discord, what are they going to use instead? Carrier pigeons. We got to go back. It's the only way. It's the only way. Telegrams. Phones. Wired phones. Attached to the wall. With the spirally cord. Corded phones. It's time. Dixie cup and a string. There you go. I don't know. I just think tech will kind of always be like this, because everything gets innovated a lot faster than, you know, regulation shit comes out. So we're always going to be on the back foot, dude. We're always going to be on the back foot. But as long as it makes money, it'll be fine as an industry. And the reality is that people that make money in one thing that then collapses usually move to the next thing. So I always see people and they're like, oh my god, the AI bubble's gonna burst and all those companies are gonna, whatever, layoffs, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but those people are gonna find some new shit. They always do. They always do. A lot of the people working in that have and did and currently do work in crypto. It's a lot of the same people. like a lot of the people that were in startups and like making companies related to crypto and then selling them off for big money. A lot of them then moved on to AI related companies, or they're still doing it. Yeah, and then everyone's like, crypto tanked, and they act like those people died. And I'm like, they're still there. They're just doing something else. As long as you can make your money on your one thing, you can just keep that going forever. You just need starting capital. Yeah. So, like, they're always going to be there, dude. They're always going to be there, man. There are some people that did make, you know, money and then some that did lose a bunch. There are some people that are like, yeah, start flipping burgers now, dude, kind of thing. But they've been doing that for a while. Those sound like horrible people. I think maybe this is a cynical view of the world. I think they're everywhere. I think people have always been like that, and I think it's very human. Not that I think it's good. I don't think it's good, but it's very human to do things like that. When given the opportunity to make a fuck ton of money off of other people, almost every person would select yes, and everyone would be like, no, I wouldn't do that. But then they do. When they are offered that opportunity, they take it every time, and they always justify it, and they're like, but I can get this thing for my family, and blah, blah, blah. You know, they always do. 90% of people would always take that option. So yeah, this is like since the beginning of time. That's just how people are, right? I feel this way about like all the streamer drama and stuff that keeps happening. People are like, oh my God, these people are evil. Streamers are so dramatic. And I'm like, have you never worked in a workplace and seen these fucking people out in the wild? Because they're everywhere. Every industry is like this. Anytime power dynamics exist, people do this stuff, which is everywhere. This is like, society is like this. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't doom about that, though. I don't see that as like a big doomer take or anything. I'm just like, you just have to be realistic. And you have to know what's out there and be smart about it so you don't get fucked over, and you'll be okay. You'll be all right, you know? But if you're like really focused on like, but it's bad though, people shouldn't though, to the point where you like expect better of people, you're going to get stepped on all the time, you know? You don't have to step on other people to be okay in this world, but you sure as hell you gotta know that foot is incoming at you, you know? Like, people are willing to do whatever, right? It's not like a doomer take, it's just realism. So that's why when I see people on like Twitter complaining about the drama of the week, I'm just like, oh, shut up. Like, they're not necessarily wrong. I don't completely disagree with every single take they make, but they're like acting like they can't believe that people are bad, and I'm like, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but they've always been bad. We like conquested each other and killed droves of each other back in the day, you know, like, and people largely have not changed since then. They just made more rules and stuff that they maybe follow sometimes, right? So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't see a lot of these things as big of a deal, I guess. I don't know. It's news for the unemployed. What would they do without meaningless drama from Twitter? I know. It's so delicious. I get it. It's so delicious. You see a headline and you're like, she said what? You know, who posted a Google Doc? It's so exciting. It's so exciting. I understand. But like, I don't know. Some people act like this is like the biggest problem in the world. I'm like, holy. It's too much. It gets exhausting. It does. It does. And this is why, like, when stuff happens, I will talk about it in a meta way. I'll talk about a tangential discussion, another topic that comes to mind when some drama happens, but I don't like addressing, unless I'm directly involved or it has to do with me, I really don't like addressing the actual issue and bringing it up and giving more attention to it. I just don't love it, you know? Like, the only stuff that I like to mention directly is something that I have, like, actual big personal feelings on, where I think it affects me in some way. Like, I think it actually affects me. Then I'll maybe bring up the specific thing. Outside of that, I don't know. Meta discussions are fine, but the specifics are not that. It's not that important usually. Said, it's gonna sound really silly, but it kind of bugs me. Your arms through you with your finger on the trigger. It's because I can shoot it. Or like this. It's because I actually do shoot it. That's just real. That's just working. That's just one. Is it one? Yeah, you said you hated when everyone gave their opinion on the Cinder thing. I agree, dude. I'm like I talked about some meta stuff. You know what was annoying too, man? When that all happened, I was just like, hey, I wasn't defending anyone on any side of stuff. I was just like, hey, like everyone's like this, by the way. Some more than others, but everyone is capable of doing a little bit of this, and everyone has done a little bit of this here and there, maybe not always intentionally. But like there's so many people like this, and people were like, oh, so you think it's fine, you think it's just business, whatever. And I was like, just you wait. And now look at what's happened later and how some of that situation has come around full circle, and uh-oh, everyone's like this. You know what I mean? I'm like, guys, this is what I'm trying to say. But the thing is, if you just go into this knowing that, everyone does this to some extent, some more than others, you can keep yourself safe, and you can have good relationships with these people regardless and not get fucked over by them because you don't leave yourself open to it. Right? There are plenty of people that I interact with that I know do stupid shit like that. I know they do dumb shit to other streamers. I know they're crabs in a bucket a little bit. You know, not always. If they're like really bad with it, yeah, I'll probably distance. But a lot of people, like, you know, they've done like something here or there. I don't cut them off and go, you're evil and no one can be friends with you ever. I'm just like, nah, it's human nature to freak out about stuff like this and do things that you probably will later regret. I will just operate in a way that where I hopefully won't be affected, and I'll treat people with grace and hope they get well soon. You know, like that's it, right? What else could you do? What else could you do? I don't know. I don't see the point in canceling literally everyone. I get when some people do some things that are like really bad, you know? I think it's okay to personally distance from people, which I do all the time if I need to. But I'm not going to go post about them and make them like lose all their viewers, because at the end of the day, people are entertainers, and if they're entertaining folks, they're entertaining folks. They're just doing a job. If they see it as a job, okay. If they don't have any personal attachment to it, okay, whatever. Not my business. Not my business. If their viewership hopes that they're following a good person, and then they find out that person's like not great, and they want to leave, that's okay. But I'm not going to be like, you know, you have to treat them like shit and make it so that they can't even attempt to do this job anymore. If they just like were not nice, you know, did something a little snaky or something, then I'm like, all right, you know, is that crazy? It's different from people like, you know, actually assaulting somebody, or like, you know, like lining up a series of a whole bunch of events to take down someone else's career to a huge degree. That's different. But when it's just like, you know, high school shit, I'm like, I'm just like, keep streaming, do your thing. Whatever, you know? I don't personally care to expose somebody unless they're like doing something that is like really bad, really bad. And even then, I'm just like, well, I'll just be over here, you know? But I get it. When you're the one involved with it or you expose it, you get crazy viewership for a bit. So I understand the desire. I think long term it would burn me out. So I'm good. I'll stay away from it. I'd rather sit here in my corner and just like play games and stuff. Maybe have some meta discussions about it, but not really get involved personally. You know. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with how I feel. You said, I'm not here for emotional attachment. Well, some people are, but emotional attachment is coming in like varying degrees. I think it's okay to get emotionally attached, quote unquote, in a way where it's just like, I really like that thing and it's part of my daily routine, therefore it's important to me. You know? Which is part of it just being your entertainment. It's the same way as you're like, I love Sopranos and I can't believe it ended. You know what I mean? I love Sopranos. I watched a podcast with the director and some of the writers, and I'm very invested in the thing. Totally fine. But yeah, when you're like my queen, my girlfriend, and then you go, you know, the TwitchCon try to make out with her and shit, like, you know, then it's a little weird. But yeah, I like what you said. You said, I watch streamers for entertainment to kill time. They're people. People are bad and good. If they do something I don't vibe with, I move on. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna be like, they should never stream again if they were just like not being a good person for a bit. I don't know. I don't know. People care too much. I think everyone cares too much about what everyone else is doing. They really care. And I'm like, why do you care? I don't know. If someone is like in this industry, in these circles around me, and they're like a little mean, and everyone knows this, people in the back end know this, then I'm like, it's so easy to just be like, okay, well, I just won't become close friends with them. It's totally fine to be like, hey, I can make content with this person. I can have like a coworker relationship with them because on stream we can have a good time, but I don't want to get in deep with them like personally, emotionally, because I know I can't trust that they won't do something crazy. I think it's fine to do that. I don't know. And then some people will be like, oh, that's so impersonal. You have to become like real friends with everyone. And I'm like, in what job do you ever have to do that? You work with people, and if you work well together, sometimes you then naturally become friends with them. But that's the order, right? You like work with them first. Maybe hang out a little, test the waters, and then sometimes you just naturally grow closer to people that you just grow closer to, right? Like that's not really, that's the order of operations in like real life. But for some reason with like content creators, people like keep trying to do it the other way around. They're like, no, you have to be like friends with someone to do a lot of stuff with them on stream. And I'm like, I don't know. Right, PEMDAS. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the literal order of, like, the flow, the natural flow. I don't know. Everyone keeps trying to apply like different world logic to the world of content creators, and I'm like, they're literally people, and this is their work environment. It's just got cameras on it. That's it. That's all. I like this comment too. I really agree with this. You said, I think a lot of people argue on who's in the right, like on a specific situation, rather than considering what people could have done to be nice or reasonable. That's right. I feel like everyone sees a thing happen and they're like, now it's my chance to shit on somebody or to keep pointing out how they're bad and to keep dunking on them. But nowhere do I see enough discussions because it's not interesting. It doesn't get clicks. I get why. But I don't see a lot of discussions then come out of it where they're like, how do we avoid this? Why did this person do this? I'm a big proponent of like, no one is a villain in their own story because they just want to be evil. It's usually that they had some sort of reasoning. Something from their perspective made this feel okay, where there were like difficult feelings that they had that then made them be like this or something, right? So what you have to do is you have to look at the person who did wrong or did bad or whatever, or maybe multiple people did wrong. Go into their shoes, look from their perspective and figure out why did they do this and how do you like not feel that way? How do you avoid this, right? But people don't really, people don't like nuanced discussion. And it's more fun on Twitter to be like, fuck that guy. You insert meme of him, doing some crazy shit instead of being like, I think he should have done this thing. The pirate situation blew up. Yeah, I think that was like the bigger they are, the harder they fall kind of situation. I think a lot of folks love to see, people also relish in, they love to see someone who's well-loved come crashing down hard. For whatever reason, people love to do it. I think a lot of it comes from jealousy as well. And then for him in particular, I mean, you could tell that he was kind of like this before. There just wasn't like a big situation where he clashed with a bunch of other creators on it. But sometimes he would say stuff and a chatter would be like, hey, actually this thing. And instead of just like, sitting there and like discussing it with them or like being like, oh, let me Google this and see which of us is right. Instead, he'd be like, no, actually. And people complain about this like here and there, but it was just like people that kind of watched him. No one really cared. So it wasn't until like something happened between him and other creators that then there was like a spotlight put on it. But I don't know. I feel like until the stop killing games thing, until then I was looking at that situation and I was like, all right, just let him fade out. Like, don't. I think it's okay to like have an initial reaction, but people were bashing him for months, and I was like, I think there are people on the platform that are like actually like doing evil things to people, and then you're just going crazy on this guy because you didn't like that he lied. Right? And I was like, I think like some measure of this is warranted, but it felt like it was excessive because I didn't feel like he was doing a ton of like actual real harm. But then the stop killing games thing happened and he actually like harmed the movement itself, and I was like, okay, now all right, you know. I was like, now we're getting into the, okay, now there are like real effects of the way you conduct yourself on other people, you know? But I didn't think he was ever evil. I think he was just someone who just could never get it. He just couldn't get it. And it's just one of those situations where you're like, all right, well, my choice here is to disconnect or not. Right? I don't know. But the thing is, like, I know a lot of, I remember a lot of people being like that in like school. A lot of the quote unquote smart kids in school just kind of being like that. So I felt like it was pretty easy to see like what was going on in his head. You know? Yeah, typical ego. You know, I do well in class, therefore I can do no wrong. Yeah, arrogance and stuff, which I feel like we've all seen a lot of this in our lives. And the best way to handle that, because you know those people are going to double, triple, quadruple down. The best way to handle it is to just go, whatever, buddy, and leave. Right? I don't know. He was better off when he just made feel-good content. He just did feel-good shorts. Because a lot of his advice on people for emotional things was well presented. Good content. Just stick to that, man. Just stick to that, buddy. You know? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a ton. Yeah, the situation was cringe, but what was even more cringe is people hopping into the chat and harassing, because it's double the cringe. Yeah, that to me reads like young people, unemployed people, people with nothing better to do, no joy and whimsy in their life. Maybe more so. Maybe they do have a job and maybe they are older, but they just have no whimsy and nothing to look forward to. And that's sad. And when I see that, I'm like, oh. Like, I feel bad because I see these people like spending time within their day going to a streamer they don't like and typing like mean stuff, and I'm like, how unhappy do you have to be with your life to like want to spend time doing that, right? Because you could just close the tab and open like a funny, I fucking love watching Queso. I could just open Queso's stream and just be like, haha, he's so funny when he looks bewildered, right? He said, as Wubby says, my B goes a long way. That's the thing, too. If you don't know what to say, you can just be like, guys, I fucked up. My bad. My bad. I'll do my best out here to not do it again. You don't have to explain. You don't have to over-explain yourself. I know the internet will pick everything apart, but you don't have to do that, right? There's a lot of that right now. A lot of streamers doubling down on a lot of things. And I'm like, literally all of these people could have just been like, my fucking bad, big dog. I'm going to open repo now. You know, like, they keep talking. And I'm like, stop talking. I sometimes, you know, in like past situations, I've seen some of my own friends do it. And I'm like, stop saying words. Just stop saying words. Just stop, you know? Maybe take a streaming break. I think one of the best things you can do if there's something that happens that involves you and like you're getting dogpiled on, you just go, I'm sorry, guys. My bad. It's a lot right now. I'm going to take a break for a week. And you just go away. You just go away. But then you can't farm your fat numbers, you know. Then you can't farm that attention. So I guess I get why they keep going live. And that's where the disingenuous part comes in where I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, you just do a little, my bad. My bad. I don't know. It's so easy. I think like a lot of us have to do this in the workplace, right? You fuck something up at work. You're not going to double down usually because there are other people that do the same work as you around you and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? You fucked this thing up. But there's a good chance you could just lose your job. So you feel more ready to just, yeah, throw up your hands and go, my bad, and just diffuse the situation. Because you don't get anything by ramping it up. You only get something by diffusing and having it die down. You want it to end as soon as possible. Right? But then in like content, you do get positively reinforced to keep talking about it because clips of you start going viral and shit, you know, and you do get more attention. You do make more money even if you're the one that fucked up even temporarily. So like there's a positive feedback loop that gets you not going, my bad, you know? I think long term it's damaging, but you know, in the short term it's not, and people are stupid. So when they get like a quick little dopamine hit, they get a little, you know, number go up or something, they like keep doing it. But it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. We'll be posting a video of Jack, whoever the fuck, and saying, oh, my bad guys, I thought it was a person. That's a classic. It's a classic, dude. I don't know. Said, will we ever potentially could see you at meet and greet? Yeah, I do meet and greets, dude. I do them at conventions all the time. All the time. Can't be stupid. My dad worked for Blizzard. Dude. Okay, I will say this. I understand the need. I understand the need to feel like you keep having to mention your personal ethos, right? To keep mentioning, I used to do this thing. That's why I'm talking about this. So that other people understand your perspective. Because if you don't say, I used to work here, but then you talk about how that place functions, you will get chatters always who are newer going, how do you know this? Are you just talking out of your ass? And they question it. So I understand the need to say it, but like you don't have to say it that often. And it doesn't mean that you're a freaking genius. It just means that you have a perspective. By the way, this is my perspective. Anyway, here's the thing I'm going to say. You know what I mean? It worked for a long time. It gave him credibility. Yeah, I think it's okay to mention. But it's a quick, this is why I'm talking about this. It's not a, you have to believe me. You have to believe me because of this. You're just like, my opinion is this because I came from here. Right? It's in how you say it. It's in how you say it. I say it all the time. I'm like, oh, I used to work in tech. I'm even trying to say it less because I feel like you guys know, like you've heard enough. But I don't give you specifics and I don't go into it and I'm like, you have to believe me. And if you don't, die, you know, because there will be other people who've also, there's a fuck ton of people who've worked in tech and maybe their perspective is different. They're like, you know, I did too, but I think this thing, and that's fine. That's fine. You know what I mean? So if you bring it up as a perspective thing, I think it's fine. But when you're like, I am literally the god of technology, you know, because you bring it up, then I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's the way he would always do it. Yeah, you have to believe me. You just gotta. Yeah, I invented the piano key necktie. It's literally that guy. It's too much. I don't know. So I do understand the streamer perspective of like introducing your credibility point often, because if you don't, and then yeah, you just get people questioning it all the time. So you just sort of like build, I feel like everyone builds that habit. I have a lot of friends that will talk about character design or art on their streams, a lot of VTubers that are artists, but they don't really post a lot of art, right? They're just a streamer and the art that they do is on the side. So every time they talk about like someone's character design, they'll be like, Oh, I love this. I like this thing. I'm an artist, by the way. Like, they have to say it, because if they don't, then people in their chat will be like, you seem to really know about the lines and how they're drawn. What's up with that? And then you have to be like, oh, it's because I was an artist, you know? So I get people, like, mentioning it, but I don't know. Mentioning is, like, the key word, though. Just mentioning. Yeah, like Joel. I know. I know. Joel has to do it all the time. He used to do tons of art streams, and then he stopped. But he did nothing but stream art for years. And then now he just streams games and some chatting. And then people will come into his chat, and he was really into character design, and he'll always talk about, like, oh, I love this outfit. I love how they do this thing. And his big thing as an artist was doing character design. He would design new characters all the time, right? So he'll talk about liking some design element or some outfit thing, and then some chatter will be like, oh, something's up there. Why do you know this? And he'll be like, I used to stream art, and I used to do character design. He like has to say it all the time, you know? So I get it. I get it. So that's why you will hear people, like, bring up that stuff often. You know? Joel, the 50-50 demographic goat. How the fuck does he do it, man? The only two people that I'm aware of have, like, a pretty 50-50 demographic like that are Queso and Joel. There might be other people, but those are the ones that I'm only actually aware of, like, for sure. That 50-50 male-female split. Yeah, that's what Joel has. How does he do that? How does he do that? That's crazy. I feel like almost nobody has that. That's insane. Yet it's a lot of lesbians. No, not Vine Sauce Joel, Porcelain Maid, my friend Joel. He's male streamer, but he has a female model, and it's like a porcelain doll, and his lore is that he's not trying to pretend to be a woman like people love to say VTubers do. I really don't know any VTubers that do that besides, like, maybe 2 people, and even then, like, it doesn't work. But with him, his lore is that he was a human guy who died, and then his soul was trapped in the body of this porcelain doll that he really liked, and now he can't get out. Right? And that's like, he even worked it into his lore, so, like, so it's cute. I like it. Yeah, he's like, I'm just a dude, man. It's so good. Male Joel model is soon too. Yeah, I've seen it. Huh? Yeah, he's gonna do his male model soon-ish. I don't know if he has a date on it, actually. Does he have a date? I don't think he does. But no, he has a male model coming along. I love it. This thing has been being worked on for a long time, and he always, like, throws drafts at me and is like, me and my artists are thinking of this. Which design detail do you like better? And I'm always like, pick this one, because he wants, like, the female gaze, you know? Like, what's the female gaze on it? So he always asks me, and he's like, hey, as my incredibly straight friend, what do you think? What do you think about this thing? What do you think about that thing? He does have the female gaze in his chat, though. Yeah, no, actually, a huge amount of his female viewers are lesbians. It's like a crazy number. Crazy number. Yeah, I'm his professional woman friend, as I am for many friends. But it's looking really good. It's looking really good. I was gonna talk with a female voice of that model. Oh, I wish. The thing is, like, when you use voice changers, they don't sound good. There's that huge meme of people on the internet always being like, it's always randoms that don't watch VTubers. They're always like, oh, they're all men. They're all men using voice changers or whatever. I have never found a voice changer that sounds good enough to actually trick people. Maybe some, like, people that really don't get it and have no ears will sit there and be like, I thought that was a girl, or I thought that was a guy. But I've never heard a voice changer that I couldn't clock. Even if it's a pretty good one, even with a lot of the new AI voice changers that are, like, pretty solid, there's something about them you can just tell. And yeah, when you're streaming and you're, like, talking enough, you can tell. You can tell. But they all sound cooked. It's impossible. Yeah, a lot of the time there's that crackle. It's like that artifacting kind of thing. Like audio artifacts that just show up. And it's, you kind of get the form of, like, popping and crackling. But there are a lot of ways you can just tell it's, like, not right. When people said that, voice mod was what VTubers were using for it. Dude, it was just crazy because voice mod has never been able to like, make you sound like a different gender that well. Like, never, never, ever. Impossible. Someone claimed Mousie's a 40-year-old dude. You say someone, it's a fuck ton of people. They claim it about every VTuber. Every time someone gets banned, and then they get posted on streamer bans on Twitter where it's like, oh, this person's been banned, you always get like 20 people showing up and they're like, it doesn't matter because it was a guy anyway. They were tricking people. They were tricking everybody. And I'm like, actually they weren't, but okay. They always say it, dude. I should just start saying that I'm a 50-year-old man, and I'll be like, I just have the greatest voice changer of all time, dude. Actually, I'm 50 and bald. Okay, and you will never sound like me. Because I got the secret voice changer sauce, dude. Said as a dude, I couldn't even get my voice to go lower with voice mod. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's some that like sound okay, but no. Let one of your brothers voice you for April Fools. I can't. The two that are online enough to be able to even do a stream and know what to say to this chat. The others don't even watch this stuff. They're like, they play games, but they're not like online like that. One of them has a voice where he sounds like he's always doing ASMR. But not in a good way. He cranks up the gain on his mic a lot so he can be heard because he's a really soft voice, and then he gets right on the mic and he's like, hey, what's going on? And it's so boomy because of the settings, but if he turned his gain down, then you wouldn't hear him. And I'm just like, what do you... He's not even a Valorant player. The thing is, it's not like attractive ASMR. It's not like hot person ASMR. It's like person that you can barely hear and you're like, what? And so they crank up their gain. And then the other one that could do a stream maybe, he's a really funny person, actually. I think he's very funny. I think he would make a great streamer from that perspective, but he's stupid. He's a stupid, dumb idiot. And in that, I mean socially stupid. He would say some shit where I'd be like, you stop. Like, I would cut off the stream. Yeah, he's a himbo. So I would just have to I'd have to cut the broadcast, dude. He'd be a great streamer. He would, though. Not even canceled. Well, maybe, but more so doxed. Yeah, he'd say some stupid shit. He's got a lot of really bad takes. Really, really bad takes. And he's good at not posting those bad takes online. And it usually comes from him just not knowing how a thing works. It's not like him being a fucking asshole, you know? But he won't put in the effort to learn. So I know what would happen. Conrad, thank you for the 5 gifted. Also, Boa, thank you for the 18 months. Llama, thank you for the Prime. And Dovahkiin, thank you for the 24 months. Is he belligerent when he delivers a bad take? No, I think he would do the doubling down thing. He'd do the I refuse to see why I'm wrong. And if you say, actually it's this, he'd be like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to look it up, though. And you just have to live with him never learning, and it would be so frustrating to watch. He wouldn't be a complete terrible person about it. It'd just be, frustrating as hell, you know? Taka, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Josh Stola, thank you for the 5 as well. And Pugil, I never know how to say it. Thank you for the 47. Yeah, he's set in his ways. He's really funny, though. And I'm like, what a shame, man. I've thought about, PR training him. Straight up. I think he's capable of it. He would just have to want to do it. And he's one of those people you can't get him to do anything unless he really wants to do it. So if he doesn't want to do something, complete digs in his heels, you know? But I've thought about, sitting with him and just taking him through it a little bit. because he has expressed interest in it, but I think it could be done. I think it could be done. He has a pretty strong, not a super strong, but a stronger accent. Like mine, I spent so much time online that my accent isn't naturally coming out as much. But for him, he still does. So when I'm playing games with him, he goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What is going on?" You know, he sounds like that. And then when I play games with him, I sound like that too. And it gets kind of cooked. So I want to do like something with him, but I don't know, maybe a video. I just know he would say some stupid shit. That's all. Thank you for the treasure train, by the way. Gifted subs 5+ or 35% off with the treasure train. I need to get my subs back after this long break. Please give me subs. What's your accent? Can you lean into it? I mean, I could. I used to talk like this. I used to say dog a little. Not that strong every time, but sometimes I would just talk like this. Time that's a big quirk of the accent. Time. Orange, Florida, forest. I think I still say those though. Those I don't really like. I don't know. I never got rid of that. I never started saying orange. Never did that. Nazara, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Ren, thank you for 5. And Whiskey Danger as well. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Kulo, thank you for the 22. Bethan, thank you for the 3 months. Appreciate it. Ernge. Yeah, I don't know. I had a thicker accent a long time ago. But too much time on the internet. Too much time. Orange sounds goofy to you? It does to me too. You know, I was talking about it the other day, but like, it kind of sounds like everyone's from Minnesota. Right? You know that really, oh yeah, sure, bud. Oh, the Green Bay Packers. It kind of sounds like everyone sounds like that, but lightly to me. If you're not from, like, you know, I heard it in the 22. Yeah, 22. Yeah, bud. Oh, sure, bud. You betcha. Oh, yeah. Oop. Yeah, let me squeeze past you there. Everybody sounds like they're like that, though. They actually do. Gonna scooch by you real quick. Ooh, sorry, bud. Ooh, sorry. Sorry. I don't know. It's just kind of like, I think when people speak in the US, obviously that's the really strong, like, Minnesota kind of thing. When people are from the Midwest, or not just the Midwest, but like, even when you start heading south from the Northeast, you go straight south and you start hitting like Maryland and those kinds of places, I feel like you kind of get a little bit of that. You kind of get it. And it just sounds like really, really light Midwestern for me. But yeah, they're all different, and I can usually hear somebody talk and be like, oh, they're from, you know, a little south. They're from like very far south. They're from, that's more of a Bayou accent, but there's a fuck ton of accents, man. Even in the Northeast, people always hear May talk. They hear May and they're like, oh, are you from New York? And she's like, what? I'm from fucking Boston. The car. She says the car, not the car. The car. You know? She does not say dog. It's incredibly, like, you know, northeastern. Very Boston sounding. But people always, they're like, oh, you must be from New York. I think they just kind of like put all the northeastern ones together. Ohio in here. Apparently, they send newscast people here for voice training to talk in the most basic accents so they're easier to understand. I get that. I get that, but I think a northeastern accent can also work if you have the really light one that I have, which is when I turn it off, when I specifically turn it off and I go for a more neutral accent. there are very few things that I say that would clue you into me being Northeastern, just certain things. And I think that one works as well. Because you hear a lot of that in media. If you could pick an accent, which would you? I'd keep mine. I would keep it. I would keep it. I would not. I can't stand. Okay. I'm sorry because it's going to make some people like sad. I can't stand a lot of the slower talking. Somebody always shines through. Yeah, body. Yeah, I know. I can't stand the slower pace. I like listening to a lot of other accents, but I wouldn't want them personally. I really like the Northeastern, the vibe. The vibe. You want to know how to do a Scottish accent? Ooh. It could be kind of tough to learn, I think, depending on where you're from. Irish for you, no question. You would love the game we played yesterday. It was really good. Really good. I want to play more of it, actually. No, I like a lot of those kinds of accents, yeah. GEEGA hates my slow-paced California speaking. It really, yeah. it makes me feel impatient, and I try to not be an asshole to people. But some of you guys speak so slowly, I can't do it. I can't do it. You got a Brummy accent? Gonna bake these biscuits. Gonna bake them. That's the word. So I watched the British baking show, and one of the announcers, she has a really strong Brummy accent, and so and she'll be like, "They're baking their tots." It's so strong. It's good though. It's good. I like the sound of it. I don't think it's a bad one. But do you get made fun of in the UK if you have a Brummy accent? Like what accents in the UK do you get made fun of for having? And not like to the outside world, but to other people. Got a Brummy accent with a lisp? Yes! Yes! This is the thing though, if you go online and you like really play up on that, that could be like your whole thing in a good way. In a good way. Obviously in person, yeah, you're gonna get kind of like made fun of for it, but Chelsea X's Scousers, Essex Scousers, yeah. Yeah. I know Kuro would get kind of made fun of a lot. I think his accent was stronger too when I first met him. And I've known him since like before I started streaming, because he was streaming for a while. No, was he streaming before me? I can't remember. I think he was. But we were in this Discord of a lot of smaller VTubers. And a lot of us became friends just in there by hanging out and playing games. And me and May and Kuro became friends in there. That's where I met Joel too. And so some of my like first ever streams I did with him, and I did with May. I used to stream with May every Wednesday. We had like a literal blood pact for months and months that every Wednesday me and May did a duo stream, something together. And yeah, this drum solo's going crazy, dude. And you know, occasionally really late at night, I used to stream like 8 p.m. Eastern through like 2 a.m. So sometimes late at night, you know, it's UK morning, right? It's my like super early morning, but then you get like the UK 6 a.m., 8 a.m. crowd waking up. More like 8, 9 a.m. And then that's you know, we'd get Kuro. So sometimes it'd be really late. We'd be doing a little media share, just hanging out watching videos, me and May, and then he would show up. So but I feel like at that time, his accent was like crazy strong. Crazy strong. That Discord sounds so mythic, like a legend. There were two. One was made by this guy named Bubs. Bubscord. The old Bubscord, not like the new one. And Bubs made a Discord and just added like all of the smaller streamers he could find to it. And we were all in there hanging out. And I met some people that I really liked, but a lot of people that I like was like, I don't dislike you, but like, I'm not trying to do 50 collabs a week with all these people, you know? It was overwhelming. So I found the people that I got along the best with, and then we just kind of hung out. And then there was another Discord made by a friend group that had, like, if you remember Artie, the black shark, you know, the shark with the black hair and the black fins, her and, like, and Bao and Sen. I don't think if you, you might not know Sen. I'm trying to think who was in that friend group. I used to hang out with them a bit. Yeah, Artemis. Yeah, Artie. We would all hang out in this other Discord, and that was where I met Joel. And those were like the two servers that I saw people in, that I was a part of at least. There were others, but I wasn't part of them. Not Sen's, not with a Z. No, Sen, a different one. You know if there's still servers like that? I think people make them, but I think there's so many more people. At the time, you could have like one Discord and have all of the known indie Twitch-based VTubers in it. You could have all of them in it. And everyone would hang out in there, and everyone could be tight because it was a tiny community, you know? Nowadays, there's so many people that I just don't think you're going to find those in a way where you get to network with, like, everybody. It's not possible. And you know, when things get bigger, it's harder and harder to pick out the people you get along with, the good people, because there's just so many people to wade through. So many people, so it feels overwhelming. There's still friend Discords and things, but they tend to be not like as open, like, oh, just invite everybody, because everybody is now thousands of people, when it used to be everybody was like 200-300 people, you know? It was a lot more handleable at the time. But, yeah. VTuber networking is so hard these days. Yeah, I think genuinely, if a lot of us that were around at that time that found success, if we were all starting like right now, a lot of us would not find the same success. Because when we had that kind of like first movers advantage, where when the community was small, but there were a lot of people coming in as viewers, those who were smaller at the time still soaked up a lot of those new people kind of into their communities, because there wasn't a lot of option, right? But now there's so many options. It's really easy to get overlooked, I feel, if you're newer. Really easy. Even if you're not newer, if you're just smaller, it's so much easier to get overlooked. It's harder to grow. Yeah, it's just more saturated. But I think there are better pipelines for getting your content out there now, with shorts being a big thing. People weren't really using and watching shorts nearly as much at the time, but now they are, etc., etc. So there are more tools to grow in other ways. So it's still good. I just think there's more competition. I think gone are the days of just hitting go live and fucking around with 20 viewers and just growing. You used to be able to do that and just grow. Nowadays, it's gone. You can't do that anymore. You can't. You actually, yeah, you have to put effort in and advertise yourself. You have to do events. You have to have a brand that's specific. You used to be able to be like, oh, I'm a Fox girl, and everyone would be like, oh, that's the Fox girl, because there weren't 1,000 Fox girls, you know? Right? So, yeah, Nomad, it's the same formula. It's the same one. From an observer's perspective, streamers seem like they have it rough. You talk to all these people through chat, but you're simultaneously closed off when making close friends with everyone but no one at the same time. Yeah, it's really hard, because as you grow, like, a lot of people want stuff from you, and I don't think they all mean it in a bad way, where they don't know that they're coming off that way, but everyone asks to collab. Everyone asks for your time that you don't have to give. And then when you don't give it, they all, you know, not all, most of them interpret it as, oh, this person doesn't like me. When really, it's just, no, I'm busy. I'm busy, and I already have 50 friends that I don't spend enough time with. I can't, you know, be adding more in. I personally, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I do ghost people here and there. I answer a little bit, but I kind of ghost. And it's not that I mean to. It's like I have like 10 work DMs at the end of every stream. When I see just a personal one, I'm like, okay, I'll get back to that. And then sometimes I forget. It gets tough. So, you know, and then I know there will be people that will feel like I'm avoiding them because I don't like them or something, which is not really the case. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, you said if I really like a VTuber, I wouldn't mind being friends with them, but I also understand that I'm just a viewer. Yeah, and the tough part is you don't know until you know, right? So if you meet somebody online and you give them a chance, you let them in, you become closer friends with them. At some point, you feel like you've settled on what kind of person they are and you can tell if they're going to be crazy or not. But you don't know until you know. So you have to give people a chance. And giving all of these people a chance gets exhausting, and it's a little dangerous, dare I say, to like let people in all the time and then have a lot of them turn out to be not great. So it's kind of unsafe for a lot of us to be like befriending everybody who comes our way, right? It's just not a good idea. But then it feels bad because you don't want other people to think you just like off rip hate them. You wouldn't want to try. It's just an environment that it doesn't make sense in, you know? It's a scenario that doesn't lend itself to that being possible. So it's more of like, hey, just situationally I can't do this. But, you know, it feels bad from the other perspective, and a lot of people will be like, but I didn't do anything wrong. And they didn't. But you just can't. You just can't. No time to do it, and it's not safe, right? So you have to kind of hold people at arm's length. Yeah, no. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. But I don't know. But I like making new friends, so I really try with a lot of people. You know, and I DM people back quite a bit, but then, you know, I tend to take too much on all the time. And I have too many people that do want to like hang out and talk, and then I can't do right by all of them. That's my problem. That's always my issue. Yeah, same, kitty, same. That's why, like, I really liked being on a server, right? Any server-based stuff, because then I can like naturally run into people here and there, and those friendships can sort of happen or not happen very naturally, instead of me having to be like, oh my god, who did I not DM this week? Who did I forget to answer this week? And having to click through all of my like recent DMs, and you know what I mean? Like it's tough. It's really tough. So anything server based, I feel like it's easier for us to have more natural relationships with people because of just the format, right? I think that's why a lot of people like the content from servers like that too. People like to watch it because they're watching people naturally get to know each other. They naturally run into each other, have a little moment. Like I became friends with a lot of people from the Blood Church. Yeah, because people just came up and they were like, "Oh my God, poop girl" near the poop deli, and I was just like, "Yeah, that's me." And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I will join the Blood Church. Why not? I didn't know anybody in there. I only knew of like 3 of them. And then I had a great time. And now like we set up games and stuff, and we have a server and we hang out. And that's like a very natural way of doing it. But I don't know. There's literal poop, and people donated poop. Yeah, the problem is, kitty, I was sort of learning how to play Rust while building that, and it kept getting blown up, so I couldn't really like get into it properly. But over time, now that I feel like I know how to play Rust, now that I get it properly, I'm ready for next Rust arc. Whenever it happens, I'm gonna go crazy with it. Can't imagine having that amount of comms with different people. It's rough. I would say I get every day I have 20 to 25 unique people DMing me about something, and some of them are very work related, some of them are personal, but every day 25 different people, 20 to 25 DMing me about something. And for a lot of that time, I am sitting here streaming, and I'm not trying to sit here and have my DMs open and be like, you know, getting back to people. It's really easy for stuff to fall off when it's like that. It's rough. And this is why I really wish that Discord had better sorting of everything. I wish I could sort my DMs by anything where I wasn't the last one to answer. Or something. I don't know. Easier bookmarking. You can mark stuff unread, but I wish it just had a folder up top instead of it just having a... I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different DMs with red notification markers above my servers right now. I've only been streaming for 2 hours. I have 7. Please collapse them, please, into a folder, please. I hate it. It stresses me out to look at it. I just close Discord a lot when I'm streaming. And I'll miss, like, important DMs sometimes because of it, but I just leave it minimized because it stresses me. I will open Kitty's DM, though. She just DM'd me. She said 26 unique DMs. Shut up. Shut up, Kitty. Oh, man. Thanks. I don't know. It's annoying, though. It's annoying. You're the same way with the notifications. I was always, like, notorious for not texting back, too. Like, I was never the type of person who loved to answer in real time. I would text back, but I would do it, like, end of the day. I would do it after work, right? I was never, ever, ever in my life the type of person to drop what I was doing in that moment and text back if it wasn't important. I would look at it, and if it wasn't important, I would leave it for later. I would finish work or whatever, school even, and then after that, I would be like, now's my time to sit down and reply to this stuff. And people would always get pissed at me, and they'd be like, you texted me back 5 hours later. Now I don't know if we can go to this thing later or whatever. Now I'm not inviting you to this dinner. I booked for 5 people instead of 6. And I would be like, yeah, that's fine. And they'd be like, but you could have come along if you answered earlier. And I'd be like, yeah, but I can't. I don't have that in me. I don't have that in me. I'm in class or I'm at work or whatever. I will be doing my shit. And then eventually I'll answer when it's time for me to look through everything. But people would get mad. And I'm like, look, if it's actually important, blow up my phone. Call if it's actually important, or yeah, text me 20 times. Then yeah, I'll understand. But I have to do it to keep my mind healthy. I just have to, otherwise I'll freak out. I'll freak out, dude. I don't know. The point of texting, dude. The point of texting was to leave a message for somebody so that they could get back to you when they need to. It was not to do stuff in real time, because that's what phone calls were for, right? Phone calls are for that. Pick up and answer me now, right? Answer me right now. Texting is, I've left you a message, get back when you can. It's a visual, written answering machine, in my opinion. Just for me. The red status ruined it. I always turned that off. I always did. Always, if there was an option to turn off red notifications, gone. Gone. Hate it. Ooh, you find in dating recently, you have to reassure the person you're dating it's fine if they take time to respond. Right? Same thing with friendships. You make a new friend and you have to be like, hey, I'm busy. You can be busy too. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know. I'm texting a friend. By texting, I mean DMing. I was going to play Arc Raiders with some friends for a little bit, for a couple hours before we get to our RV There Yet collab. I'll see if they're still playing. They should be. Text was a step up from pager. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Yeah. For sure. At least in my opinion, that's what it is, right? Like, the pager was there to send somebody a quick code, a quick tiny string of text, and then they would look at it, and if it's important, they would go do the thing. If it's not important, they would just be like, okay, noted, and address it later. And I feel like texts were just, you know, That, or like I said, voicemail, but written. And yeah, maybe, is that old school? I don't really care if it is. Like, I'll just... I'll do it old school style, dude. I'll just leave it. I don't know. I don't know. Said dating and job hunting have gotten so much worse in recent years because of that. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not dealing with any of that, dude. It sounds like a nightmare. Oh, you know, I wanted to do that. I'm going to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to give you a heads up. I have a Google form. It's not posted yet. I'm going to post it maybe Sunday, Monday for the community in the Discord. Next Sunday, not this upcoming one, but the 8th. No, sorry, 9th. The next one is the 2nd. We're going to do media share. After that, the next Sunday, I want to do dating profile reviews. Okay. Which means whatever dating profile you're using, or if you want to make one, you just screenshot it. This is not like a Google form like, oh my God, which chatter wants to date me kind of thing. This is, I want you to screenshot your actual dating profile. You can redact your name, you know, if you want to put emojis over your face, you could do that. You could do that, you know, whatever you're like comfortable with. But I want you to screenshot it, okay? And then screenshot like the different sections, and then we're gonna go over them. That's what I want to do. Negative risk incoming. It'll be fun. I want to invite a friend to look at them with me. Who should I bring? Should we do Boone? I gotta pick somebody for it. I think Boone would be funny. I wanted to do I kind of think Michi would be great, but she's always awake so late, so we tend to not do as much on stream as that. Oh, hang on. Tomato just said, round ended. I'm opening Arc Raiders. I'm opening it. I'm opening.
Imagine back in the 1920s where you're going to the speakeasies and your one friend who's always late hasn't shown up, so you have to send a carrier pigeon to them with "where you at, bro" on the scroll.
You send the carrier pigeon and it just says, "You up?" All right, let's change your title. You up? Let me see, am I listed as online? Yes, I am. I gotta say, playing Arc Raiders this morning really early, it was running really well on my computer. We'll see what happens when I'm streaming at the same time. You said, damn, Fallout music based. Fallout music? You don't know who Nat King Cole is? You called it Fallout music. What do you mean? All right, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, guys, you're gonna love today's overlay. Ready? FPS God 69 has logged in. Isn't it good? You like it? Dude, I'm in Speranza. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off the game music's actually really good. But we're keeping the Fallout music on, allegedly. Okay, I'm on here. I'm capturing the game.